Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ingus and I'm from IGS Electronics. Today we are checking out Eaton's DE1 inverter drive. That's the one right there behind us. It's a very basic drive, very cheap. So I saw that on the market. I thought, I better check it out, what it's all about. So this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be checking out how to set the drive up and start testing up a control station. So all the control stations we've already been testing with our different drives and see how many of those stations we can apply to this guy, because this is really basic, very thin, long drive, and it's actually quite sizey as well for the size of the kilowatt rating it is. So yeah, so we were going to be checking out today what this drive can do. So I'm not sure how many videos we're going to require to finish off what I'm trying to do in here, so possibly be one or two, so do check out the description below. I'm also going to leave the manual, and again all the related videos and anything like that comes with it will be in the description below. So without further ado, let's get started. There we are, so all wired in. So as usual, let's go through all the connection points. Right here up on the top you have a line and a neutral. This is where the line and neutral will come in for your single phase. If it's a single phase, if it's three phase, it will be L3. And also you have two earth points down here. In here you have a RJ45 for connecting your controller unit or external display unit if you wish to have one. For this purpose and for this video we're not going to have it, because we're going to stick into basics as much as we can. Then you have a line UVW going directly to your motor, and then you have this terminal blocks in here, which by the way are pluggable if you wish to have it that way. So you can unplug it and plug it onto it if you want. And as you can see in here, we have 0, 10, so 0 and 10 volts. 0 will be more or less used for your reference points, which by the way, the potentiometer here, it does say in the manual, it says fixed at 4.7 kilo ohms. I'm not sure that's the way it's supposed to be, just 4.7, but for our case, we are sticking to 4.7 kilo ohms. And this 10 volts in here is also used as well, is used for the potentiometer, and also used to run power up your digital inputs. Good way of saving up 1 point. So digital inputs will be these 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you are 13 and 14 is going to be your relay output, so for your relay if you wish to use it. So next we are going to be having is this guy in here. This is the control unit, which has modes, as you see in here. Not sure zooming in on that one. As you can see, it's got 9 modes in there, more or less. The most common modes that people are using is all being preset inside this controller, and you can upload them into your drive just by flicking a couple of things in here, and that's pretty much all you're going to need to do to get your drive going. So plugging in that one, obviously you can have a external display unit, which is external controller with where you can access your parameters and things like that. That is roughly about, in your case, about 52 quid, but we are sticking, because most common people are going to have just this one. So we're going to be talking about this one only for these couple of videos. So when it comes down to front keypad, you have a 60 and 50 hertz, obviously self-explanatory, where you're going to be selecting here in Europe, well, at least in UK, we are at 50 hertz. Ramp up, ramp down, this is a ramp up, ramp down, this ramp thing in here, that's for acceleration, deceleration. Both of them are going to respond to this dial. Then you have a fixed frequency in here, which is a fixed frequency dial. You can, for us, we're going to be, for this station, we're going to be working first in a minute. It's going to be for the jog. And so you can set up in here what's your jog, that fixed frequency going to be. Then you have mode selection here, which I already showed here on top. You select the modes, and then you have a overloader in here, motor overloader. As you can see, 10% to 100%. 100% will be the drive's overload. So my drive is 1.4 amps, so that will be 100%. And if my motor is 1 amp, I'll more or less find just a sweet spot somewhere right here, just for the percentage downwards, where I what would reflect more or less my one. So it's probably about say 30% less or something like that. This is where the dial as well, just like you set your overload. As you can see, when I moved around, the green light disappeared, because every time you move things around, so it will ask you to upload the parameters into the drive. And to do that, you are just do whatever you want to do. Select the acceleration, set frequency. Let's set that one a little bit higher. The mode, blah blah. Whatever you change, just hold this set button until green light starts flashing, and once it's solid, it's been uploaded and the drive is ready to go. Well, having done that, as you can see, we already have a station wired in. So the first station we're going to be looking at it's a 2-wire control, and there's one small bummer which I don't like why they didn't do it. They didn't preset any 3-wire control, which is I mean, you probably can get it with what's his name, the external oven. You can edit the parameters, but from default you can't get any 3-wire control, so which is a bummer. But nevertheless, we're going to be trying now is run forward, run reverse. We're going to use a jog button, and that jog button is going to be our sort of like a preset speed, which we're going to be controlling with this guy in here, and also we have our potentiometer in here. So when it comes down to wiring, as you can see here, we've got our potentiometer. 3 cables going to our potentiometer, and you can see they're coming here for 0 volts, 10 volts, and then we have the 4 in here. It is a class as an analog input as well, so the 4th digital input is our analog input. So this later on for the different setups, that can function as digital input as well. So for this station, as you can see down there, we have a 10 volts coming in here. We have 10 volts going to, as you can see, 2 cables coming out, 10 volts going to our potentiometer, and also 10 volts going to our e-stop in here. From there on, it comes through and it sort of distributes the power all across to all of the normally open contacts. The first normally open contact is going to be digital input 1, is going to be run forwards. Second one is going to be run reverse. As you can see, I have another cable going into the button in here, and that when it comes down to a select frequency, or in our case we're going to call it a jog. And because it requires jog or select frequency in our way, it requires a run signal. I have chosen run reverse for our run signal, and then as soon as I click that one down, it will activate that preset frequency and it works as that. So basically you need the run signal to run your preset frequency, and that's pretty much that is in a digital input 3. So that's pretty much how this wiring is done. So that's pretty much all there is. So let me put on the cover and we'll check out how that works. Here our cover is on, so let's see what it looks like. So we have it run forwards. As you can see, the motor is running, and we got our potentiometer in here. So and then if you put them both together, they will lock each other out. So as soon as you unremove one, it will go in reverse. And as you can see, if I suddenly want to go into jog, it will quickly go into jog. And again, this is a preset frequency, and you can set that a jog speed or a preset frequency speed in here, so we can make it really slow if we wish to. So remember, every time we change something, we need to upload it. There you go, that's in there. So that moves a little bit at a time. Again, you can have a jog forwards, you can jog it in reverse if you wish to. Those options are available. Whichever run signal come on, you will jog that way. And that will do, ladies and gentlemen, for this video. Usually I cover as well 3-wire control, but this one doesn't have 3-wire control by default. So because we're not going to be using a external keypad, so we're not going to be doing any local controls either. So for that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be finishing this video, and we're going to be jumping to the next video. We're going to jump on to 2 more other controls that I would like to show you, so definitely check out the next video. So other than that, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got any questions, do ask them in the comment section below. Don't forget all the manuals, everything, all the related videos. I believe they have anything anyways in the description below, so do check it out. Other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.